Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Mark Martin. President Trump is moving to roll back key elements of two of President Obama's major accomplishments, Obamacare and the nuclear deal with Iran. The president is announcing his plans today to decertify the Iran deal, and the White House says the government will stop its subsidies of insurance companies for Obamacare payments after the president signed an executive order Thursday that he says will give Americans better and cheaper health care. Gary Lane has the story.
While the Iranians are technically complying with the deal signed by President Obama in 2015, President Trump maintains it's a bad agreement, the worst ever negotiated by the United States. The president's decision means Congress will now review the nuclear deal and make changes, including possibly reimposing sanctions against the Islamic regime and putting pressure on Iran to consider some changes in the deal. On Thursday, the president took another action to roll back a key accomplishment of Barack Obama's presidency, health care. After making a few remarks, the president warmly greeted those who came to see him sign a new executive order on health care. Vice President Pence reminded him he'd yet to sign the document.
Thank you, everybody. Most important thing. I'm only signing it because it costs nothing.
But Democrats argue it will be costly to those covered by Obamacare, especially the sick.
That will be a catastrophic decision that will lead to millions of people losing their insurance.
The president is ending some of Washington's key subsidies for Obamacare. He says the government cannot legally pay $7 billion in Obamacare copays and deductibles because Congress has never appropriated specific money to do it. The president insists the money would be better going directly to the states for them to handle it. The president's order also promotes choice and competition by allowing the formation of health care associations, a favorite of small businesses and Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. The executive decision also allows insurance to be purchased across state lines.
So this is promoting health care, choice and competition all across the United States. This is going to be something that millions and millions of people will be signing up for, and they're going to be very happy. This will be great health care.
Congressional Democrats argue the president is ripping apart Obamacare.
The president is sabotaging health care, and we have no action in the Congress.
And while the president says his executive order is the first step in repealing and replacing Obamacare, something the Senate has failed to do 3 times this year, House Speaker Paul Ryan says legislating health care is best left up to Congress.
If you first don't succeed, try again. So we just keep telling our Senate friends, just keep at it.
Gary Lane, CBN News.
The death toll in California is now at 31, making the fires burning out of control there the deadliest in state history. 2 of the fires have merged, and firefighters warn that the emergency is not even close to over. Cadaver dogs are now being used to sniff through the ash in search of victims. As of late Thursday, 400 people were still missing. The flames have left entire neighborhoods and commercial districts in complete ruin. More people now evacuating while they still can.
I can't believe this is really happening. We've never been in a situation like this.
High winds that spread and fuel the fire are predicted to return to California into the weekend. An abortion clinic was recently closed down in one of the most pro-abortion states in the nation. Paul Strand reports from Germantown, Maryland.
After 44 years of legalized abortion in America and some 60 million babies killed, you might not think it does a lot of good to fight against it. But there's been a major victory against one of the most heinous forms of abortion here in this office park in Germantown, Maryland.
In 2010, Andrew Glenn found out Leroy Carhart had started to do late-term abortions out of a clinic just a mile from Glenn's home while Glenn's own wife was 20 weeks pregnant, and Glenn couldn't stand it.
And just coming to the realization that months past the point where my wife was pregnant with my child, these babies are being aborted here a mile from my house.
So he and others helped form the Maryland Coalition for Life to fight Carhart and the clinic.
We literally stood in front of the office development here for over 8,000 hours.
But in the beginning, the pro-life forces couldn't legally get close to the clinic because the large office complex was private property.
The police would come in and ticket them and cite them. They wouldn't allow them to be here.
But then this office opened up right across the street from the clinic, and the pro-lifers established their own support operation for pregnant women in it, and that changed the battle.
Once we opened up Germantown Pregnancy Choices, that then gave us the ability, because we were tenants in the development, to be here on the sidewalk in front of the abortion clinic.
Then on, the pro-lifers heard many testimonies like this.
I had an abortion scheduled for the next day, saw someone out there with a sign saying pray to end abortion, and I decided not to go through my abortion, and here's my 3-year-old son who's now alive and we can't imagine life without.
Betsy Evans' Pro-Life Medical Center took in many of the women steered away from Carhart, like a mother and her teen daughter.
The two of them had actually driven all night from a Midwestern state to come here to just see Carhart. They came to our clinic. We spent time with them, and the teenage girl, after seeing the image on the sonogram, decided she was going to parent. She said, I don't know what came over me.
Glenn recalls a couple headed for Carhart because they'd been told their baby couldn't survive after birth.
The parents asked for prayers, so some priests came and prayed over the baby. They went to Rockville Pregnancy Center, had an ultrasound, decided not to have the abortion. The baby was delivered, and there was nothing wrong with the baby at all. And now he's a 4-year-old, happy, rambunctious kid who their parents can't imagine life without him.
Despite these individual successes, closing Carhart's clinic down seemed impossible.
He's a very powerful guy with a lot of political support behind him, and it was discouraging.
But they kept up their protest. Then this year, a local pastor reached out to the landlord of the abortion clinic.
Sent him an email and said, hey, I know you're tired, we're tired, would you like to get out? We would like to, purchase the clinic to close you down.
The landlord agreed. Churches and pro-life groups quickly raised the money, and they sent Carhart and his team packing.
This just shows that when pro-lifers put their mind together, miracles can happen.
Evans says she and others are now
absolutely rejoicing. That was the most barbaric form of abortion offered up there, and just to have that out of our backyard is a relief.
Both Glenn and Evans encourage people to keep fighting because hearing the pro-life side changes the mind of as many as 80% of women heading for an abortion.
I see it every single solitary day. Women come in here, they need information, and they're not going to get that information at an abortion facility at all. And so should we give up the fight? Never.
Well, it may have taken 7 years, but Maryland pro-lifers point out a victory is a victory. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from what was Leroy Carhart's abortion practice, Germantown, Maryland.
The U.S. is pulling out of an influential UN body because of its policies affecting Israel. The State Department says UNESCO, the United Nations Scientific and Cultural Organization, displays a continuing anti-Israel bias. In May, UNESCO passed a resolution on Israel's Independence Day rejecting any legal or historic claims by Israel to the city of Jerusalem. In July, it declared Hebron, the city where Jewish patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are buried, as a Palestinian World Heritage Site. The U.S. said UNESCO is in need of fundamental reform. Palestinian rivals Hamas and Fatah announced a preliminary agreement ending a decades-old conflict. When Israel left Gaza in 2007, Hamas and Fatah fought a pitched battle in the streets before Hamas gained control of the territory. Since then, Hamas has fired rockets on southern Israel and used tunnels for terrorist raids, prompting Israel to fight 3 wars with the terrorist group. If the new agreement goes through, Gaza could be returned to the control of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. It could also mean Egypt will open its border crossing with Gaza, possibly allowing more weapons into the territory. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he opposes any deal that does not require Hamas to recognize Israel, release Israeli hostages, and stop its militant activities. Coming up, see how some Catholic congregations are attracting new believers without compromising their values. After years of scandal, attendance in Catholic churches is down. However, one new strategy of revitalization is working. And as Caitlin Burke reports, it's something any church could use for a 21st century transformation.
The Catholic Church is known for its sacred traditions. Those traditions, however, can make the church seem resistant to change. One Philadelphia parish challenged that perception when it moved to transform along with the neighborhood it serves.
In the 60s, this neighborhood was half Jewish, half Irish or Italian Catholic. Over the course of 8 years, those families moved out, and now it's entirely African American. The synagogues left, but churches like St. Raymond's Catholic Church stuck around to welcome their new neighbors.
I think one of the things that we seek to do, and as the pastor I seek to do, is to let folks who do not have a church home know that we're a viable option.
That may seem like typical neighborhood outreach, but culturally and historically, the Catholic Church doesn't offer much to African Americans. Father Chris Walsh wanted to change that.
I like to tell people that St. Raymond's is both authentically Catholic, but then also authentically Black church experience. So it takes the best of both worlds, the history, the liturgy, the teachings of the Catholic Church, and gives it very much a Black church feel as far as music, as far as preaching style, as far as worship experience.
Walsh found it wasn't theology that needed to change, it was a congregation needing to convince their neighbors that St. Raymond's met their needs.
When the church arrived in Rome, it had to adapt some things. Paul understood that the folks in Corinth were not the same as the folks in Galatia. And so his message at times was preached in a different way. It was always the message of Christ crucified, but he found a way to make it appealing to that local community.
Author Chris Lowney uses Father Walsh and St. Raymond's as a prime example of how the Catholic Church needs to change. In his book, Everyone Leads: How to Revitalize the Catholic Church, Lowney writes that to thrive in today's world, we don't have to drink some 21st century cocktail.
What we have to learn to do is just to drink more deeply from our own first century well.
Lowney writes that the church is facing its worst crisis in 500 years.
This is a kind of a slow motion crisis for the Catholic Church. And of course, other Christian churches are suffering some of these phenomena. So in a way, I use that phrase and use those statistics early in the book as a kind of a call to action.
Lowney offers what he calls an Easter strategy. That stands for entrepreneurial, accountable, serve, transform, and reach. Looking at St. Raymond's as a model, it first established leadership teams to help manage operations, ministries, and projects. Then they gathered information about what people wanted from their walk with Christ and how the church could meet those needs. After analyzing that data, they made any changes necessary. St. Raymond's serves the neighborhood with a Catholic school, providing families a safe place for their children to learn. Philadelphia's public schools are some of the most violent and lowest performing in the country. Longtime parishioners felt St. Raymond's once depended on church welfare. Low attendance meant borrowing money to keep the doors open. Now, thanks to the cultural transformation, complete with music and decorations, people travel from other parishes to help pack the pews each Sunday. Pastor Walsh believes when it comes to reaching millennials, encouraging their involvement differs from past generations.
As a church, we have to realize that it's not going to be on our terms. You know, they're not going to commit to teaching Sunday school every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. However, they might come once a month, and they might be really phenomenal and really offer something. They might not come to Wednesday night Bible studies, but they might really be open to leading a faith-sharing group, you know, in their apartment with 4 friends.
Lowney points out that even the Pope is encouraging an attitude of innovation within the Catholic Church. The Pope took his own advice recently at the annual TED conference by appearing on screen as one of the speakers. As he talked to tech company founders, artists, and cultural leaders, he surprised his audience by using modern tools of the digital age to reach them.
Come sarebbe bello se alla crescita delle innovazioni scientifiche e tecnologiche corrispondesse anche una sempre maggiore equità e inclusione sociale. Come sarebbe bello se, mentre scopriamo nuovi pianeti lontani, riscoprissimo i bisogni del fratello e della sorella che mi orbitano attorno.
Lowney feels this strategy is universal and can revitalize any church, no matter the belief set or denomination. For it to work, however, he stresses it can't just be from the top down, even if it's the Pope who calls for change. It requires everyone to lead. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Up next, the life of a legendary Supreme Court justice comes to the big screen. We've got your first look. Christian actress Candace Cameron Bure is joining the chorus of female celebrities speaking out against Harvey Weinstein. Bure reposted an article on her Instagram written by fellow actress Mayim Bialik about the sexual assault accusations. The article calls Weinstein's behavior disgusting but not surprising. Bialik says sexual harassment happens all the time in Hollywood and more people need to shine a light on the issue. Bure also wrote in an op-ed 3 years earlier that parents should teach their children boundaries and how to find their identity in Christ. Well, it's time now to sit down with actor Chadwick Boseman. He's the star of the new film Marshall. Boseman plays the role of Thurgood Marshall before his historic days as the first African-American Supreme Court Justice. Ephraim Graham has the story.
Thank you, Jake.
What are you thanking me for?
Chadwick Boseman played Jackie Robinson in 42.
Rolling Stones ain't even ever had a hit record yet.
James Brown in Get On Up.
Mr. Spell, I'm Thurgood Marshall with the NAACP.
And now the role of Thurgood Marshall before his rise to become the first African-American justice on the United States Supreme Court.
All of the other biopics that came to me, you know, I turned them down. She says you raped her and tried to kill her.
She lied.
I'm telling you this up front. The NAACP were not like most lawyers. We only represent innocent people, people accused because of their race. That's our mission. You understand?
One of the unique and beautiful things about this is he has got to defend someone accused of rape and attempted murder, but he can't speak in the courtroom. How do you do that?
Well, that was the question. I mean, for me, reading that he's gagged in the courtroom, at first it was like, well, there's no way I'm doing this because I don't get to talk in the courtroom. Yeah. I don't get the big speeches. And at a certain point, as I continued to read, I realized that it was, you know, having your arms, doing a boxing match with your arms tied behind your back and still winning. Mm-hmm. If you can do that, you're the greatest fighter in the world. So it became the conceit, the obstacle actually to get over. And so it became a conversation of how do we, how do I set up the first part of the movie, you know, or everything outside of the courtroom so well so that when we get in the courtroom and I can't speak, that's justified. The hero is established. And then how do I continue to establish the hero not being able to talk? How are we shooting this? What are the nonverbals? What is the interplay? So a lot of that was found when we actually got there. That was improvisational. The subtext and nonverbals was all stuff that Josh and I found, or that I found alone when the camera was just on me. And that's just a great acting exercise. You know, it was something that I knew would be difficult for any actor to pull off.
You do it well. I mean, because I know coming into it, I thought, well, Chadwick doesn't look like Thurgood Marshall, but you really become him.
Right.
In my mind, watching it, the timing of this film, set in 1941, we're in 2017, having a conversation about race yet again. How timely do you think this film is?
It's so timely. I mean, and we couldn't even plan it because we wanted it to come out during Obama's White House. You know, I think the producers wanted a White House screening of this movie. The movie wasn't done yet, and we end up now putting the movie out, not knowing that we would be in this time post Charlottesville. You know, dealing with three attempts at changing healthcare and dealing with the president saying that players can't protest, essentially protesting unfair treatment of African Americans by police. You know, that's essentially what this whole thing started. It's essentially asking Americans to live up to America to live up to its dream, and that's patriotism. So we didn't know that patriotism would be under attack in this way, and that white supremacy, that Charlottesville would have happened, and white supremacy would have such a forefront. And that's, you know, where this movie is. This movie has a backdrop of white supremacy in Germany and has a forefront of white supremacy in the story. And so we didn't know that this movie would speak to this time period because we planned for it to come out much earlier than this.
Once again, the film is Marshall, and it opens in theaters today. We'll be right back with more of NewsWatch. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're looking for some family-friendly entertainment this weekend, we've got a helpful movie review from our friends at Plugged In Online. This week they check out Goodbye, Christopher Robin.
In the movie Goodbye, Christopher Robin, author and playwright A.A. Milne returns from World War I intent on penning the definitive book championing world peace.
What did we fight that war for?
Well, it is over.
What am I doing about it?
You're doing what you're good at, writing plays.
But before that project takes shape, he and his wife have a son they name Christopher Robin, a boy they leave primarily in the care of a nanny. But when the nanny needs time to tend to a sickly mother, young Christopher and his father begin to do something rather rare.
Shall we go for a walk?
Aren't you working?
It doesn't seem likely.
Can you think of a good name for a donkey?
Eeyore.
Christopher's stuffed animals become Winnie, Tigger, Piglet, and Eeyore and embark on adventures in the family's 100-acre wood.
Come on, don't get frostbite!
The creatures in the story are toys. They're toys, but the woods are real.
Winnie the Pooh.
It's rather
inexplicable.
Then, when father publishes these stories, they become wildly successful. Letters pour in, and people and the press clamor to meet the real Christopher Robin. Subsequent media interviews prove to be fabulous marketing tools. But at what price? As Christopher becomes increasingly resentful of the unwanted fame and attention, his solution is heading off to the next World War. This well-made period piece underscores the importance of family bonding. Furthermore, it reminds viewers that children suffer when they perceive they've been used to advance someone else at their expense. On the flip side of the coin, not much. Some bullying, some non-gory war violence, and a central character's penchant for wilder living, although seldom on screen. I'm giving Goodbye, Christopher Robin 4 honeypots out of 5 for family friendliness. For an in-depth review of this film or anything else at your local box office, check out PluggedIn.com. Plugging you into the movies, I'm Cheryl Wilhelmy for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
And that's it for now on CBN NewsWatch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care about most at cbnnews.com. Also, tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend.